Hey, yo! What's good, everyone? It's your boy, J-Rod. We're back here with the Week 5 NFL predictions. You can see we got an overall record of 38-27, not including the Thursday night games. Now, if we include those Thursday night games, we'd be pretty nice. I think we'd be like 41 or 42. It's just most of the time I get the videos out after Thursday, so like I don't want to make it seem like I'm, clickbaiting y'all or some shit. But yeah, 38 wins. That's not terrible. That's really not too bad. I've compared it with other people who do it, and it's about around average, I'd say. So you know what? We'll just do the Thursday night matchup. We won't include in the record, but we'll say it's the Rams facing off against the Seahawks. I got the Rams. I just think, I know they came off that loss against the Cardinals, but I think Matt Stafford should be able to throw the ball pretty easily on Seattle. I know Seattle at home, primetime games, are pretty good, but I say the Rams get this one. So that was just real quick, get out the way. Now we got look what I'm doing here with the slides, man. I'm really coming out here getting better every week. So this is a London matchup. Game's going to be played in London. We just send all the bad teams in London, apparently. We got the Jets facing off against the Falcons. I like the Jets, and I'm not on the hype train because they beat the Tennessee Titans. The Jets still got a lot of reoccurring problems, especially on offense. I think that was just more the Titans not playing their best football and having guys out. But, London games are really weird. Anything can happen. It's more of a gut feeling. It's not really down to reasoning. This game could really go either way, but I'm just going to go Jets here. Zach Wilson, I would not be surprised if he turned the ball over at least once or twice, but I think the Jets defense is capable enough to hold down this Falcons offense. And then we got the Patriots facing off against the Houston Texans. The Patriots are a pretty damn good 1-3 team. We'll just leave it at that. So that's why I got them. Houston Texans, Davis Mills is just absolutely, he's just not it. He's terrible. He's got a nice, girthy neck, pause, but and a nice flow, he looks like he should be playing hockey or something like that. But yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on with that one. We got the Lions facing off against the Vikings. This one I had to think about for a while. The Lions played the Chicago Bears. Jared Goff and this Lions team has actually been able to move the ball up pretty well. It's just being able to finish in the red zone, which has been a big problem for them, especially last game. They had so many chances in the red zone to get touchdown opportunities, and then they just couldn't, and then they went for it on like 1 or 2 fourth down attempts, and they just couldn't get them. I know the Vikings only scored 7 points last week against the Cleveland Browns, but that Cleveland Browns defense I feel like is the best in the NFL, if not top 3 at least. But I think the Vikings get it going on offense a lot more this game against this Lions defense. Lions are a little banged up on defense as well. I think this could be surprisingly close, though. Like, Jared Goff can definitely get the ball up the field on this Vikings defense. But yeah, Vikings just are an all-around better team, so I'm just going to go with them at home. And then we got the Eagles facing off against the Panthers. Panthers lost against the Cowboys, but the Panthers are looking really good. Such a fun team to watch, I'm not going to lie. If you're a Panthers fan, you should be hype, especially with getting Stephon Gilmore now, and you didn't have to give up too much to get him. I feel like this is just a bad matchup for the Eagles. You got a team that likes to play a lot RPO, likes to involve their fast guys, and that's what the Panthers defense is. They got fast guys. They got guys who can, go from side to side on the football field. So I just think it's not a very good matchup here for the Eagles. And the Panthers, I think, should be able to get a pretty easy dub here. We got the Saints facing off against Washington. Washington still just cannot get it going on defense. I don't get what it is. I really thought Washington was going to be like a top 5 defense this year. And they're just, even against the Falcons, they had the Falcons get 30 points up on the board. And then the Saints are just one of those teams where, you don't know what team you're going to get every week. They could either be, every given week they could either be one of the best teams in the NFL or they could just be not good at all. So it's tough. I still think they're trying to find their identity with Drew Brees being gone. I think they're trying to figure out, do we want to keep playing Jameis Winston, at a more conservative type football, or do we want to let him unleash the deep ball? Because in week 1 we said they were letting him unleash the deep ball. Actually, no, not week 1. It was one of the weeks where they won. They're like, yeah, Jameis, just throw that thing, and he was throwing some dots down the field. And then other weeks, it's like last week they just try to play too conservative against the Giants, and we just saw we just saw they weren't able to put up enough points on offense. I do have the Saints for this game, though. I just think, the Saints are just going to be too much for Washington, especially on defense. I think the Saints' defense should be able to give some pressure on Taylor Heineke, being that they are a lot better of a defensive team than the Falcons. So moving on to the next one, we got the Tennessee Titans playing on the road against the 0-4 Jags. Jags have had a lot of close games. They just haven't been able to really finish them out. They have, they got about 3 days more rest after playing that game against the Bengals. But I do like the Titans. I think they have a bounce-back game here, a little bit of a rebound. Hopefully either A.J. Brown or Julio Jones comes back for this game. I think at least one of them should. But even if not, Tennessee Titans historically are always good against the Jags, and Derrick Henry always tears them up. So I'm just going to go with the Tennessee Titans. It's hard for me to see them lose to the Jets and Jags in back-to-back weeks. But the Titans definitely do have a lot of reoccurring problems with the O-line, with the play calling, with the defense. So the Titans, they got to get some stuff straightened out. Then we got the Miami Dolphins on the road facing the Bucs. That Bucs-Patriots game was such a good one to watch. Tom Brady making his return. It was definitely a lot closer of a game than I expected, but the Bucs came out with the victory. I think this should be a lot easier of a game for the Bucs. I think they come out here and dominate. Maybe the Miami Dolphins defense gives a few problems, but the Bucs should be able to stop that Miami offense pretty easily. At the Packers playing the Bengals, I really want to pick the Bengals. I like Joe Burrow. I like the confidence at which he plays with. He makes good decisions. The Bengals, their play calling against the Jags was pretty rough in the first half. It just seems like they did not know what they wanted to do on the offense. And then the second half, they just made the best play call. So, the Bengals are one of those weird teams where, in certain times of the game, they look really good, and then other parts, they just don't. So I think this is where the Packers could catch them off guard. I think the Packers have a better chance of just playing the whole game better than the Bengals do. Bengals might have some parts where they look better than the Packers, but I think Packers overall will just look better. And, they're also a team that could just go crazy on offense in the beginning of the game. The Packers could easily just go down the field and get 17-14, and then it's just too much for the Bengals to come back with. I believe the Bengals were down 21-0 against the Jags or something like that, but being that it's the Jags, the Bengals were able to get a comeback. And if that happens against the Packers, you're not getting a comeback. The Packers are taking that game away. So that's why I got them, but I would not be surprised if the Bengals came out here and got a win. They also got that 3 days of rest, so that could definitely make a difference here. Then we got the Broncos facing off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like the Steelers at home. I think they get the W. Drew Lock's going to be the starting quarterback most likely for the Denver Broncos. And I think Ben Roethlisberger should be starting. He has a hip strain injury, but he should be good enough to start. And even if he doesn't, I still like the Steelers over the Broncos. I just think their defense is going to give Drew Lock a lot of problems. Not saying that the Steelers are going to do much on offense either against that Broncos defense, but I think they definitely can and will have more success on both sides of the field. And then we got the Bears playing against the Raiders. I like the Raiders at home. Khalil Mack making his return playing against the Raiders. Raiders came off their first loss of the season against the Chargers. They just could not get anything going on offense in that first half. It felt like they had to punt the ball every single possession. So, maybe the Bears defense causes some problems. The Bears, they're going to put a lot of pressure on Derek Carr. That's what they're going to try and do, or at least what they should do. That's pretty much what Joey Bosa said. It was funny, that roast that Joey Bosa said. He was like, if you want to win against the Raiders, just put pressure on Derek Carr and you're getting that ball back. It was something like that, he said. So that was pretty funny. But, I just think the Bears offense is still fucked. And now they're missing David Montgomery, which is just a huge loss, which he was pretty much the sole reason why they won last week against the Detroit Lions. So I think him being gone is going to be huge. I have no clue who's going to be the starting quarterback, but regardless, I'm pretty sure I would go with the Raiders anyways. But this could be a close game, definitely a close game, but I think the Raiders will be able to finish it out towards the end. Oops, go back. We got the Browns facing off against the Chargers. This is a really tough game to pick here. Really tough game. I'm just a little bit concerned about Baker Mayfield in this game. I feel like if it's a close game, heading towards the end. Baker's been missing a lot of passes. There was this one clip where they could have sealed the game away against the Vikings. Had a deep, wide open pass to Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham had at least 10 yards free of open space. And Baker just completely underthrew him. If he does stuff like that against the Chargers will capitalize. I love how the Chargers are playing. They're playing confident. They're playing smart. The coaches are making these – they had like a punt fake, a field goal fake. They went for on fourth down. They were just doing everything in that game against the Raiders in the primetime matchup, which is, something that playoff contending teams do. They make the big plays like that. So I just don't think Baker Mayfield, if they need to rely on Baker to throw the ball, if they're down by 7 or 14 and say they need him to get back into the game, I just don't know how much I have trust in Baker right now to be able to air that ball down the field. Then we got the Giants facing off against the Cowboys. Giants got their first win of the season, a very big win for the Giants. That was almost like a must-needed win for them. But I got the Cowboys. The Cowboys are looking really good this year. Cowboys are looking really good this year on both sides of the field. I really don't have too much to say. I just think they get the win here. It's good to see Kadarius Toney's finally getting involved with this Giants team. But Dak Prescott, I feel like, should be able to have a day. And then we got the Niners facing off against the Cardinals. I'm going with the Niners to stop the Arizona Cardinals' undefeated record. They're currently the only undefeated team in the NFL right now. The Cardinals, I feel like the main reason they were able to be so successful on offense that game against the Rams was, you got to spread the field out when you play the Cardinals, right? Because Kyler Murray, he's going to run all over the place. You got a really good receiving core this year for the Cardinals who can just go all over the place, run side to side on the field. So you really got to spread it. So what the Cardinals did, they said, all right, if the Rams are going to spread the field, we're just going to run up the middle with James Conner. We're just going to run up the field with Chase Edmonds. And that's exactly what they did, and they got 200-plus rushing yards because of it. And that I just don't think is going to work as well against the Niners. Because if you spread the field on the Niners, they got, linebackers like Fred Warner that would just go right in there and stuff the run. So I think that might throw the Cardinals off guard. Now, Trey Lance is most likely going to be the starting quarterback for this game, which I feel like is either going to work out really well or really bad. And I love Trey Lance. I love his potential. I think he has the highest potential of any quarterback in this draft. But I'm a little bit worried about him, starting against the Cardinals in his first game. They got a pretty good defense. And Trey Lance, as much as I love his throw power, sometimes I feel like he just whips that thing. Like the accuracy sometimes can just be so off because I feel like he tries so hard to just whip that damn ball. But we'll see how it goes against this Cardinals team in his first real test. And then we got the Buffalo Bills facing off against the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs. I'm doing it. The Bills have looked absolutely dominant these past 3 weeks, but, they have played some pretty bad teams. I mean, they played the Texans. They played the Dolphins, although the Dolphins aren't terrible, they're just not looking great right now. And who else did they play? They played they played Washington. Got that pick wrong. But, I like the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs' defense is absolutely horrendous right now. They're giving up way too many points. It doesn't even matter what team they play. They're just giving up points. So I am definitely worried about this Chiefs defense against the Buffalo Bills. I just think a home primetime matchup game, it's going to be very high scoring. I got trust in Pat Mahomes to just single-handedly take over this game. I know the Buffalo Bills defense has been looking really solid. It's more of a feeling. It's more of a gut feeling type game than it really is reasoning here. I just think this is a game where Pat Mahomes just takes over. And they realize this is a big game for them to get back in the right direction. So that's what I got. And then the Monday Night Football matchup, we got the Colts facing off against the Ravens. This is going to be a close, low-scoring game, I believe, but I'm giving this one to the Ravens. I just don't see the Ravens losing 2 Monday night games, especially with this one being at home. They lost, week 1 or week 2? The Ravens faced off against the Oakland Raiders, and they lost this one. But now them being at home, it's just hard like I said, it's hard for me seeing them losing 2 Monday Night Football matchups, prime time, them being at home. I just don't have trust in Carson Wentz. I know both these teams are actually really banged up, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But I still think Carson Wentz is going to struggle against this Ravens defense. But don't be surprised if it's close, because I could also see Lamar struggling against this Colts defense. I think we're going to see him air the ball out a lot more in this game to his receivers. Yep, that's the last game. So there's my picks for this week. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll catch up for week 6. And peace.